So I got several resolutions for 2026. The year 2026. I got a couple of resolutions. Um, but they're really more like goals, I think. But are goals and resolutions the same thing? It's like when I think of the word resolution, it's kind of vague intentions. I get this idea of like vague intentions, like I want to eat healthier. What does that mean exactly? That means different things to different people. You know, it's like how do you measure that? It's like you gotta make it more concrete. And I think that's a goal. It's like something that's like concrete. Like I want to eat salad for lunch every day or something. That's a concrete goal that you can measure and say, yeah, I did that. I ate salad every day for lunch this week, or I did it 3 days a week. You know, that may be easier to get into, do it a couple days a week than to do it every day, starting out. You know, and I think a lot of people have these kind of they have this desired outcome, and they kind of have a rough idea how to get there. So when you say they want to eat a healthier, you know, probably the desired outcome is to be healthier. And just eating healthier. I think it's a good way to start, but to be healthier overall, I think it requires more than just eating healthier. Like exercising regularly, walking, or going to the gym, lifting weights, whatever. And maybe you know is just salad enough? Eat a salad every day. Is that enough to say you're eating healthy? You eat that for lunch every day. I mean, that's probably a good start, but you probably incorporate other things. I mean, what is salad? When you say salad, are you just cut up some iceberg lettuce and put some ranch, Hidden Valley Ranch on there, and that's it? Or are you gonna, throw in some walnuts and throw in some cubes of cheese and you know some a little bit of spinach, kale, and mix it up. You know, add a little bit of variety to it. It's not just a plain iceberg lettuce. And then how deep do you want to get into it? When you say salad, um, yeah, that's a good way to start. But then you also got to think like, how many calories is actually in that, or how many vitamins and minerals are you actually consuming? You can think about. You know, I think maybe a naive person who's just getting started down that journey would just think, yeah, eating salad is healthy. Then you have your gym bro, who is deep into it and knows when he eats something, or when she eats something, she knows exactly how much protein is in it, how much fat, how much saturated fat, how much polyunsaturated fat and monounsaturated, how much carbohydrates is in it, how much fiber is in the food. you know but yeah. And anyway, that those kind of vague ideas is how I used to approach my own resolutions in the past. In the past years, I used to say, I want to become, I want to learn Spanish this year. And I did that for several years, a number of years. I've said every year, one of my New Year's resolutions would be to learn Spanish. I want to learn Spanish. Like, how do you measure that? When can you say I've learned Spanish or I've learned a language? we can say that. It's hard to say, and because there's just so many different levels, it's this infinite gradient. Um, um, but yeah, it wasn't until one day at work um, that my boss had me take a test to be able to officially say I speak that language, and I could use it at work, help, interpret. And I passed that test, and that shows me, it kind of taught me you really have to. I think tests are a good way to measure your level and to say that, you've reached a certain level. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, I speak Spanish. What level of Spanish do you speak exactly? Or what level of that language do you speak exactly? You know? And that experience made me realize how important it is to kind of like set concrete goals, measurable goals, something that's challenging but attainable. Because that's how you really know you're growing. Is like when it's a challenge, you've pushed yourself, you've stretched yourself. Um, but I think I probably could have made progress faster if I'd had, went in with the intention of passing a certain test or setting a goal for myself with Spanish, a certain number of words to learn every day or every week, instead of just kind of picking up words as they came up. And but anyway, something else I thought about with resolutions and goals is like, what makes someone want a certain goal or certain resolution? People, I think they have two different motivations, or two different things that kind of motivate people. And it's, you have internal motivations, you have external motivations. So something internal would be going back to living healthier. Something internal might be, oh, I've been feeling really tired lately, or I'm tired of losing my breath after going up a flight of stairs, or my knees have been hurting, whatever, something like that. And so you say, oh, I think I need to make a change. I want to eat healthier. I want to live a healthier lifestyle. I want to eat healthier, exercise, so I can run up the stairs, or my knees don't hurt, and I've been down to pick something up or whatever. So that's like an internal motivation. Then you have external motivation, would be, you watch TV or you watch a movie and you think, oh man, that person, she has a really nice body. I want everybody like her, or I want to be ripped like that guy. Something like that. Those are external motivations, external motivators, and I think that can be good or bad. Depending. I mean, it's good to see someone living a healthy lifestyle, and think I want to emulate that. I want to also live a healthy lifestyle. But then, a lot of bodybuilders, they use steroids, they use, these drugs to get that look. That's not very healthy, and that can be a negative external motivator. But I mean, if you don't go that far to use drugs and stuff, but you start going to the gym, I mean, it could be seen as a positive external motivator. And then which kind of has led me to talking about like what are my goals for 2026. So one of my I was inspired by this YouTube channel, I2C underscore Jason, and he's an electrical engineer. He has his own R&D research company, develops electrical, mechanical, gadgets, and him, as well as a number of other people that I can't remember off the top of my head, that do that kind of, make those kind of YouTube videos where they're building something, experimenting with electrical devices, mechanical, electrical, and software. I find that really interesting, and I think that's part of the reason. That's one of the reasons why I have this goal now to learn these types of things. That's one of my goals for 2026 is to start learning engineering or general engineering skills, and actually use ChatGPT to help me create a curriculum that I'm going to try to follow for 2026. And I'm actually in school for engineering. For the plan was electrical engineering originally, and then I got this job or part-time gig, I guess you could say, working for my uncle who has an HVAC company, and I think we're going to switch to mechanical engineering because with the mechanical engineering degree, you only need 2 years of HVAC experience to become an HVAC contractor. I think then I can start working for myself, which ultimately that's the goal, is to work for myself, have my own thing. The idea wasn't originally to do HVAC, but to do some sort of engineering. So yeah, if you want to follow me, you can follow me. If you want to keep up with, I plan to keep making more videos and sharing my progress, and we'll share the curriculum that I'm following. All right, thank you.